Everybody is ready? Yes. You're. All right. Calling to order the special meeting of municipal council on Thursday, December the 21st at 6:35 p.m. I guess the second item on our agenda is the approval of our agenda. Deputy Mayor, I believe you have the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and second by Mr. Martel. Municipality Council approves the agenda as presented.
No, actually, as amended. So, we do have an amendment to make on 4D on the agenda. That's the Port of Johnstown Collective Agreement. We're now able changing it to a new motion based on the fact that it's now been ratified and giving the details of what was discussed in closed session.
Okay, so approve the agenda as amended with a new paper for 4D. Okay, any other changes? There's discussion? No. Okay, all in favor? Good. And then so disclosure of pecuniary interest, conflict of interest in the general nature thereof. Does anyone have a conflict? Okay, then action items, and we're at 4A, the draft plan extension for Meadowland subdivision. Councilor Martel, you have that.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Chris Ward, that municipal council recommend in favor of a one-year extension to the conditions of draft approval for the Meadowlands North subdivision file 07-T09001.
Okay, all right, discussion. Who wants to go? Anyone?
No, I mean, it's unfortunate they have to extend it, so this extension, I know they're working on more details that have been discovered based on CN rail, for example, and other things as well. Do we think it's gonna go past that as well, the 2025, I guess, February 2025, or do we have a feel for that, or?
Well, it would more than likely go past that timeline, but I would anticipate that there should be some progress made.
And we can only extend for 1 year, I believe is what I saw, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. That's all I have.
Through the chair to the CAO, CN doesn't want to approve the crossing of Gill Street. Is that correct? What I was reading today. It says that they want to look for another way entrance.
I think that they're going to look at a different option. It seems to be CN has some concerns with respect to that crossing. We'll continue to have those conversations, but they're also going to look at the different option.
When I was reading it, I was thinking, where else would they go? To get in? They're going to cross the tracks and head west everywhere.
There is potential.
There is. Okay. Oh, I know.
Yeah, I'm tired of it. I guess the bottom line is on this one, I've been in, this is my second term. First term we give him 3 years, and now we give him another year. I understand the situation, but I don't see any movement. This has been approved, in 2010, August 26, 2010, and then updated and more homes, and yet nothing. And I'm not blaming, and I'm going to be very, very honest, I'm not blaming the contractor 100%. I think we have a lot on our shoulders. It's been here for 3 years. It would give him an extension. The last 6 months, we moved on. The other 2.5 months, we must have put it on the shelf. So I think we should be getting more, I don't know if you call it aggressive, but we need, at least as a council, we need more information on these as they move along. And I like to have a monthly report on this subdivision and on the other subdivision that we have. Where does it stand? Because this here, that was our goal as all council sitting here, is to get homes built and move. We have 2 subdivisions only in our township, and neither one are going anywhere. Maybe the one across the road, hopefully it is, since it's This one here, I didn't see this going along. I gotta support it. Because I know what happens if I don't. It comes to an end, so. But no, I'm not pleased with this at all. Thought maybe Tracy be on. So, duly chair to the CEO, you're saying that, we'll probably have to give him more time next year? Like in 2025? In other words,
I anticipate with respect to that, homes are probably not going to be built within the next year. There's some additional work that needs to be done.
right? Do you think homes will be done in 2027? I know you don't have a magic wand.
Well,
not a fair
there are some things that are outside of,
Yeah,
municipal.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah, no,
We're working,
Facetious.
Well, yeah, but, you know, and I think that it's a little bit of an unfair statement that, you know, from a township side, we put it on the shelf and only been working on it for the last 6 months. There's been work and there's some progress, and sometimes you don't see those steps that are being made in there. It's just, it's taking a lot longer than
yeah,
than any of us would like to see. We all have a vision and goal to see.
I appreciate that, but maybe I think it's time that we get more updates as we go through on these projects. And not like every once a year, like this is brought up. You know, 60 days, he brings it up 60 days, so you have another year. That's all. I guess it's not fair what I'm saying. I guess maybe not put it on the shelf, but I don't see what I call progress is when I see a dump truck over there in the high hole. That's progress, and that's not my magic wand as far as I'm concerned. But anyways, I said my 2 cents what it's worth.
Points made.
On the first term next one.
Yeah, I like the deputy mayor, I struggle with extending. I think, you know, we're talking, I think the original approval was 2010. You know, it'll be 14 years in. It's certainly been kicked along since I've been around. So, but by not giving an extension, nothing's gonna get done either. So,
Instead of
yeah.
Yeah, I think that there, I think there's been a lot of time and effort forward on multiple fronts. And it would certainly be more than disappointing. Not to see something.
Not to see it.
No.
Sure. So my only question to the CAO is, I mean, I know that we're talking about just extension here, but for the crossing, is there a way around it? Like, I understand that we still need an egress, but and that's a condition that we put on as, if it wasn't council, it was committee, and council approved what the committee put on for the condition, right?
So, to there, that condition with respect to that crossing, I believe it was an original condition back.
Okay. I think I see it maybe slightly different. I thought we put it in, but I may be wrong. My question, I thought it was when we expanded and we went to so many more, when we allowed for the density, that one of the reasons that we said okay to the density was if we added the escape, like the second route, so that we could get out, because we added so much density to it, because it had evolved from what it originally was planned to be to something completely new, and or at least much more you know, there can be a lot more people. So it doesn't matter, that's history. My question is simple. They presented it in 3 phases: phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Right, sort of like an outside to the east, an outside to the west, and then a center block.
There are phases.
Is there a mechanism in the next year where the discussion could happen, where potentially we could see approval of the center block without the emergency access getting built, and then the emergency access being built as the condition for parts 2 and 3.
So through the mayor, there are conversations that happen between the developer and staff in some of those options. And, no doubt it would require, an amendment of,
Yeah.
of the draft plan subdivision.
Sure.
We're looking at it as the potential that may be a minor amendment, as opposed to a major amendment, and, that could be something that, certainly, could take place over the next year.
Okay, I think, like, for me, from a political perspective, I respect what the deputy mayor's said. I respect the amount of staff time that's gone into it. I know we've talked about it many times. I know it, holds capacity for the water and sewer system. There's a lot of good that's in this discussion. It's too big of a thing to let fail. There's too much work gone into it at so many different levels to let fail. You just see that as the potential to see if, I've heard the developer speak. I take the developer at their word that they want to move forward with this, and I think finding a way so that they could move forward with it without this would give them the potential to earn and show theirs as good faith, and it would give them time and the availability to work and create that second access as well, all at the same time. So I just think that way it accomplishes everybody's goal. Hopefully we see something like that. Further discussion. Anyone? Yes, no?
No, I think, you said something and I feel like we might have had a discussion about it being in not the first phase either, now that I say that, but it was a while ago, right? So.
Could have been a public meeting. I don't.
But
remember that.
I like that approach, if we can come up with something there.
Options. I trust that staff will have that discussion with the developer and see if they can come up with some creative ways and maybe bring us some solutions. Right now, we're asked for an extension. And it's been moved and seconded, correct? All right, so then if there's no further comments, I'm gonna call the vote. All in favor? Okay. Okay, so temporary reserve borrowing.
Yeah, the chair. Purpose of this is to transfer money from the reserves account to operating account to offset our capital invoices. So for a bit of background, with the County Road 2 rehabilitation project, it is nearing substantial completion in 2023 rather than 2024 as anticipated. This causes a gap in funding as the loan from Infrastructure Ontario will not be advanced until February 1st, 2024, the earliest. Wastewater component of the project is complete. Original budget as per the tender was $1,070,928.95. Actual cost will come in at $1,095,275.41, which is a $24,346 overage on this component of the project. Overage will be covered by the Cardinal Wastewater Reserve. Since this part of the project is complete, there needs to be a temporary transfer from the reserve to complete the year-end process. We have to close the books on the Cardinal Wastewater system. Once the funding is received from Infrastructure Ontario, the funds will be placed back into the Consolidated Reserve Fund account and to the Cardinal Wastewater Reserve account 90-3808. Policy implication was all financial items over 75,000 for council approval. Financial will cause a temporary depletion of reserves, but will be replaced in February 2020. Recommendation.
And Mr. Martell or Councilor Martell, you
By myself, seconded by Councillor Chris Smale, the municipal council director treasurer. Sorry,
We don't have
Chris.
we don't have a councilor.
One of the guys at the table, director treasurer to transfer $1,030,150 from the consolidated reserve account to the general operating account to temporarily fund the Cardinal wastewater component of the County Road 2 rehabilitation project, and 2, direct the treasurer to return the loan proceeds to the consolidated reserve account once funding is received from Infrastructure Ontario.
You're welcome. Thank you. Discussion. Marty?
Not here.
Chris?
The only question, and I don't need to know the balance in that reserve fund, but there is enough in the reserve fund to cover it, and it's not gonna leave us in a problematic state, or?
No, the balance of the consolidated reserve account is just a shade over 4 million. And then it's allocated into the amounts accounts. So
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you'll see on when I present the Q4 reserves, you'll see that the carbon and wastewater balance is negative.
Right.
And then once the final funding comes in, it goes back into the reserve account and then turns positive again for a few months. And then everything stabilizes.
Negative reserves, gotcha, okay.
Happy? Deputy?
No, I'm good, no.
Very well,
Sorry.
thank you.
I'm sorry, it's just pretty lost me, so.
To the treasurer, the 24,346 was that in addition to contingency? So are we contingency plus to get over the full budget?
That was just what was on their schedule. I have to check with the director of operations to see if the contingency was separate from that. I was just going by how the cabinet invoices were segmented out on the work.
Because we would have a contingency, wouldn't we?
And if that's the case, what I would do is when the contingency is allocated, I would allocate it to the portion to all the segments.
Either way, we got a bill to pay and we're gonna pay it.
Yeah.
Then through the mayor, the 1,070,000 would have been the tender price, we would have had contingency.
Yeah.
On top of that.
Yeah, we would have had
So,
10% on top of it.
But what that radiant was, that's the treasury. I would say as well within that contingency.
Yeah, okay, that's sort of what I was anticipating to hear. Yeah, yeah, okay. Either way, we still have a bill to pay. This is how we're gonna pay it. And we're gonna put it back in February, right? Sure. All right. Okay, then moved in second, and then I'll call the question, all in favor? Okay, Port of Johnstown Investment GICD and Councilor Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Move by myself, second by Councilor Chris Ward. Authorize and direct the Port General Manager and Township Treasurer to find the best possible rate for up to 2 years for non-redeemable GIC, and that the Port General Manager take the full amount estimated at $1,547,409.34 from the Royal Bank of Canada GIC maturing on December 30th, 2023, and purchase a new GIC for up to 2 years.
Discussion?
Are we going here?
Yep.
Are we going to, with the GIC, is he staying with one bank, or is he gonna check it with all other banks? Or all GICs paying the same, because I just found out today, Bank of Montreal is paying 5.1.
Yeah, I've got a better rate, but.
Through the chair to Councilor Snell, there would be, for sure, I know that RBC was given the chance, and so was Scotia. Those are the two main institutions that we deal with, so we would then see what rates come in. And it's on a certain day, so they'll be getting the rates as of December 28th, and then make the decision on who to go with. So the last time this came due, we moved down from Scotia to RBC because they gave more favorable terms. So we will do the same. Yeah, with these funds as well.
I'll say I think it's worth noting that after our lengthy discussion Monday on whether or not we wanted a shorter term or a longer term, it was either Tuesday or Wednesday, the mortgage rate dropped below 5% again. So, you know, that worry that both yourself and Frank had expressed And the reasoning for going for the longer term actually started to come true the next day, I think it was, or the day after, so interesting to know that for sure. Okay, so. Any more discussion? No. When would, there's another one coming up, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but.
There is, and you'll see a report on January 8th for that.
Mhm.
It's January 24th, for, the township. You'll see a report on that.
On January, okay. Right, good, all right, any further discussion? Call the question then, all in favor? All right, then we are on to the collective agreement with PSAC local 00066, or Councillor Ward, you have that one.
Yep, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Waddy Snail. Municipal Council 1, approve the memorandum of settlement for the collective agreement as presented, and 2, direct the clerk and to draft an authorizing bylaw for council consideration, which authorizes the mayor, port general manager, and operations manager to sign the collective agreement on behalf of the township of the Port of Johnstown, and 3, authorize and direct the port general manager to prepare and release the retroactive pay and annual employee labor rates to all eligible employees.
All right, and we can discuss this. It's open now, right? It's discussed, it's open, all right, discussion?
Glad to see it's done, glad to see the guys are gonna get paid before Christmas. I think, can we have the, duly traded, the percentage for second, third and fourth year? Does anyone have that? 5% first year,
It's total of 15.5 over 4 years.
5, 4, 3, 3.
5, 4, 3.5, and 3.
5, 4, 3.5 and 3.
Yeah, and that should total 15.5.
9, 12, 15 and a half.
Yeah.
You got her. And it expires 2025.
Yeah, so the last contract ended December 31st, 2021. All right, so it was
22.
all of 22.
I believe that is correct.
Yeah, yeah, and then so they went 22 without a contract or utilizing the old one, and then 23, and this one will get it back on. So 2 years of the contract is actually retro contract. And then
That is correct.
2 years moving forward next year and the year after. So it'll end,
Expired on December 31st.
yeah, and then the new one will expire December 31st, 2025. Yeah. Yeah. So this council will deal with another contract with PSAC.
Yep.
Okay, I will say, it's good to get a deal done. I think they got, under the circumstances, a fair and equitable deal for all. It doesn't just come out to the 5, 4, 3.5, and 3. It moves the starting pay from 17 to 20, and gets us, at least for a new employee, it gets them what is considered almost to the equivalent of what a living wage is, which is $20.80. So it gets them really close, and it certainly raises the bar a little bit for a beginning employee, which is a good thing. I think that's all that I'll say. Congratulations to Robert and Kevin and Mike and the team at the port for getting this agreement in place. Anything further? Anyone? No? All right, I'll call the question then. All in favor?
Aye.
Disbursements, Deputy Mayor Delabaugh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Mr. Martel. The municipal council receives the payment of municipal invoices circulated, dated as follows. Reported date November 29th, 2023-223. $1,439,827.26. Reported date November 30th, 2023-225. $135,352.15. reported dated December 14th, 2023-231. $463,372.91. And report date December 14th, 2023-232. We'll get that, but anyways, $1,847,059.35. For a total of $3,888,611.67.
Thank you, sir. Questions or comments on the disbursements? No, Steve, Chris, Bonnie, no questions on the disbursements? All right. me
I
neither.
did my questions.
Okay. All right, then I'll call the question. All in favor? We are on to councillor inquiries and notices of motion. Does anyone have an inquiry or notice of motion?
Number
Around here.
I think I am going to make an inquiry. And my inquiry would be simple. Do we have a sign bylaw?
No, we do not have a sign.
Do we not? Okay. So we have nothing that regulates the usage of signs in the township.
There is nothing, there is a small section in the zoning, bylaw with respect to, a business signage. But nothing in that. It's very limited.
So there's nothing that,
Yeah.
my inquiry, I suppose, is A, is there a bylaw, and B, is there anything to prevent, the mayor from putting a great big massive sign on his front lawn?
So if it's on a county road, you may have some setbacks with respect to the property line, and the only part that we would have on the majority of our roads would be like site triangles, setbacks with respect to obstructions. But otherwise, it's really,
Okay, all right. I don't think at this point I'm gonna go any further than an inquiry, but at some point, I think I'd like to see it on a discussion, probably. If that's a CDC discussion or where it was on, but at some point, maybe over the next year, that we can have a thorough discussion about signs and
Just for clarification, if I could, are you talking about those tacky ones on the trailers that say,
I think.
up for,
I think, I mean, it just in general. Like, I think there's more to signs than I probably have any clue. But I think as all of the signs are down on the, they took every single sign down when they did the paving on Highway 2. In the traffic circles or whatever it's called there, or the sight lines, and I'm sure that those are about to go back up. There's real estate signs hammered in on township property, there's all kinds of different stuff, and I think my inquiry is just, do we have anything that regulates that? And is it a discussion that the group wants to have, or, that sort of thing. So, I have no issue with signage, I struggle to understand sometimes how it's okay for you to put one somewhere and maybe me not to, so. And is there a guiding rules? Yeah, that's it, that's my part, simple. Mayor's report, nothing to report. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Our date of our next meeting, I think I probably should put in there too, is January 8th, and that's a budget meeting, correct? Its purpose is budget?
minimum operations budget meeting number 1.
Budget meeting number 1, okay, so for anybody who happens to be watching, if you want to attend budget meeting number 1, it's May 8th, it's January 8th, and that one is at regular time? It's at 6:30 p.m. Yeah, okay, 6:30 p.m. And are we, this is gonna be a cheeky question, are we still in this chamber then, or are we back in Spencerville then?
Mayor, we will still be at this location.
We'll be still at this location, okay, I appreciate that.
I am optimistic by the end of quarter now.
Okay, Then we, I believe, are heading into, we're no question period, there's no questions from media or anyone. Next would be closed session, and I
I like the
believe
final report though. Moved by
there is.
Council
Hold on.
Martel and second by Chris Ward, that municipality council receives the mayor's report as presented.
Sorry, all in favor? I don't think, did anyone have any questions in relation to the mayor? It was long. Okay, and so back to question period, so there are no questions, and then on to closed session, which Councillor Smale, can you take us in there?
I can, thank you, Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Chris Ward, that the municipal council proceeds into closed session at
7:06.
7:06 PM. In order to address a matter pertaining to section 2392B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal and local board employees, specifically succession planning.
The struggle bus is real. All right, call the question to go into closed session, all in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, buddy.
Great for reading. It's moved by myself, your worship, and seconded by Councillor Chris Ward, that the closed meeting of municipal council is now adjourned, and the open meeting does now resume at 8:42 PM.
Right, coming out of closed session, back into open session, I will call the question, all in favor? Okay, reporting out of closed session, council met regarding section 239 2B personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, specifically succession planning, and we provided direction to the clerk. That takes care of it for reporting out. I need the confirmation bylaw, which is the deputy mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Council Martel, that the bylaw adopted the current ratified manners dealt with by the resolution be now passed, signed, sealed, the number 2023-70.
All right, ratifying matters dealt with in closed session. I will call the question on the confirmation bylaw. All in favor? Yes, and we can move to adjournment, and I believe Councilor Martel, yeah.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Chris Ward, that municipal council is now adjourned at 8:44 PM.
Non-debatable, I will call the question, all in favor. We're adjourned, Merry Christmas, everyone. Got it.
Okay, hang tight.
Yeah, you know what?